between three key variables: young adolescent sibling relationship quality, their state of mind development, and also their parenting styles. Next page, please. Yeah, this is a brief structure of my today's presentation. Next, please. Yes, let's come with the background. So, theory of mind, TOM for short, is the ability to understand other people's mental states, like desires, beliefs, and emotions. TOM is considered a key skill that influences many developmental and academic outcomes in children. Most research has focused on toddlers and preschoolers, while TOM is crucial for helping young children to navigate the social world. It remains just as important in adolescence. So during adolescence, TOM helps with adjusting to broader social environment and developing more advanced social skills. However, TOM development during adolescence has been largely overlooked in research. A lot of studies have highlighted the importance of family influences on children's TOM development. Siblings have a unique role since they always represented the longest lasting relationship one can have in their entire life. Despite this, sibling-related factors haven't received much attention as parental factors. And even within sibling-related research, static factors like sibling gender composition or age gap tended to get more focus than dynamic factors like sibling relationship quality. So why do I want to do this in China? So in China, sibling research has been largely overlooked because of the almost 4-decade-long one-child policy. So one-child policy refers to each family can only have one child at home. And on top of that, China's collectivist culture and deep-rooted Confucius value create unique family dynamics that could significantly influence children's social cognition. This culture and historical factors make China an important context for this kind of study. Next page, please. Yes, so we have a few objectives. So first, we wish to be the first to investigate the relationships between sibling factors, prioritizing SRQ and their TOM development in Chinese adolescents. And we wish to advance this field by employing a multi-informant and multi-method approach to assess SRQ. And by including a parental factor, that is parenting style, which was previously found to be related to both SRQ and TOM. As a preliminary study, so the primary data analysis objective was to conduct a correlation analysis among the key variables. Next, please. So yeah, so here, instead of empirical study literature review, I decided to show us a bit about the theoretical framework because I think that will help us better understanding why these associations are established at first place. So, early research on siblings started by testing the resource dilution theory, which suggests that finite parental resources like time, money, and care attention spread thinner as the number of sibling increases. So this theory assumes siblings are competitors and only bring disadvantages. And later, the apprenticeship model was introduced, arguing that having older siblings can benefit children's social cognition. Older siblings with more social experiences and more advanced language skills can providing younger children with valuable social opportunities for them to practice. However, this unidirectional approach was challenged by age threshold model by proposing a bidirectional model. So bidirectional benefits within the sibling pairs. This model suggests that younger siblings can also enhance their older siblings' TOM development only if they have reached an age where they have sufficient language skill and social experiences. So the empirical evidence for these three models is mixed. Some studies support each theory, but others fail to replicate the findings. What all these models seem to focus on are actually static sibling factors, like number of siblings. However, what's often overlooked is what the static factors actually influences. That is the quality of sibling interactions. Next, please. This is where a newer framework, the reciprocal and dynamic development model comes in. So it highlights that sibling effects can be both positive and negative, depending on the quality of their interactions. So for example, if siblings who are very, very close, intimate, are more likely to share their inner thoughts and emotions, secrets with each other, which can lead to more advanced TOM practices. And well, there are only a few studies testing this hypothesis, so we are going to test that. Next, please. Here's just a brief overview of the research design. So we've recruited 30 families, including a target child aged 11 to 12, that is the young adolescents, and one sibling at least 8 years old. We make sure this age is let the sibling able to complete the questionnaire, have the language ability to complete the questionnaire, and also one primary caregiver. And so on the right is the assessment order, the procedure for each online session with each family. But due to the time constraints, I won't go details about it. Just briefly look at it. Okay, next one. Okay, so first variable, SRQ, sibling relationship quality. So the sibling pairs assessed SRQ through both observation and questionnaires. So for the observation, please see on the left, they completed an online cooperative drawing game called Etch-a-Sketch, where one child controlled the keys for drawing up and down vertical lines, and another can only control keys to draw left and right horizontal lines. So I think the most challenging part for this task is to draw the diagonal line because the children have to press the key together simultaneously to draw a line. Yeah, this observation shows rich interactions like discussion, praise, arguments, and blame between siblings. So it's very nice observation paradigm. Yeah, and so me and another researcher, we rated the positive and negative SRQ using a coding scheme with behavior indicators of sibling interactions. And for the SRQ questionnaire was rated by both siblings as well. And we include two sub skills. One is sibling intimacy and one sibling conflicts. So this questionnaire has gone some culture adaptation as well. Next, please. So we use string story talks to assess young adolescents' cognitive abilities, TOM abilities, so both cognitive and emotional TOM abilities. So on the left, this is an example of an emotional TOM story. And we included two questions. So the first one is a factual question to ensure the child can understand the story and also actually focus on the task. And the second one is the key question that we wanted to test their TOM. So they can only get full mark, that is 2 points, if they can understand the main character's mental states correctly. Next, please. So for parenting style, instead of using the traditional bomb-rain parenting style, such as authoritarian, authoritative one, we assessed parenting practices by categorizing them into different types, and some of which highlight parenting mental state talk with children. So yes, parents were present with 6 social scenarios where their children actually made trouble, and the parents were asked how they would respond to the scenarios to resolve the situation. And the parenting categories and coding schemes have been significantly refined in the current study, but I don't have time to explain each category, so I just pick an example. So could you please see the right column under the current study? So maybe the fourth one, parent emotions. So this parent emotion categories refers to instances where parents explain the situation by referring their own emotions. For example, a parent might say, so, oh, I feel so sad, you shout at me, please don't do this again. So actually they mention about their emotions. Okay, next, please. Okay, here comes all the results. And also due to the time constraints, I only show part of my results. So the first key correlation analysis is about the sibling factors and TOM. Yes, and there was no significant relations between any of the static demographic sibling factors and TOM. And the only significant association that I found was between the target children's self-rated sibling intimacy and their cognitive TOM performance. But it is a negative direction. So it is not what I expected. But one interpretation that I can have is that Chinese parents value 谦让 in ICQ a lot. So 谦让refers to one child sacrificing their own needs and giving up things for their siblings. So as a result, close sibling relationships might mean that kids often just give up their own preferences and handle the social situations, social incidents through actions rather than actually talk things out or have arguments with their siblings. So this in turn will limit their opportunities to learn from each other's mental state. Yeah, next, please. And this is for analysis of the correlation between parenting style and TOM. Yeah, so we have found statistically significant positive correlation between proportion of parent emotion use and cognitive TOM. Yeah, but I'm wondering why only cognitive, not emotional TOM. Yeah, and for the second funding, so the proportion of active non-interference use was significantly negatively related to transform emotion TOM. Okay, so here's two things to point out. First, active non-interference use refers to that parents sometimes stay silent because they believe their environment wasn't need in the situation. So for example, they trusted their children to handle their own conflicts. This is very different from passive non-interference, where parents recognize that their children needed help, but choose not to step in. And the second point I want to point out is that to pass the normality check for emotion TOM, I actually transform it. So it is inverse transformation. So actually the direction is inverse as well. So it's actually more active non-interference use, better emotion TOM. So yeah, I think that direction actually makes more sense. Parents trust give children a chance to solve their own conflicts and can highly likely involves a lot of perspective taking thing. Yes, and also the third findings, the proportion of practice solution was used significantly positively correlate to transformed emotion TOM. Again, it is transformed TOM, so actually it is more practical solution use. Worse emotion TOM. So what is a practical solution? So this parenting style category refers to a strategy that the parents actually took direct actions to resolve the incidents without engaging any conversation or explanation with children. So for example, if two children are fighting for one toy, instead of explain anything, the mother just buy another additional toy. So each children can have one toy, things like that. So actually, yeah, this direction makes sense as well. So mothers solve the problems already, so there's no need for children to discuss the conflicts, the situation, and explain each other's thoughts and feelings. So yeah, next, please. Okay, here's the results about correlations between parenting and SRQ. Yeah, so I won't go into details, but what I really want to share is the third funding. So I actually find that parental sibling status, that is whether they have a sibling or not, can actually influence their not influence, highly related to their parenting style used. So there's positive relations suggest that parents who were only children tended to use the parenting motion strategy more frequently than parents who had siblings. Very interesting findings. Okay, next page, please. Yeah, I'm going to talk about a few limitations of my current study. So, obviously, this is a small sample size. 30 is not enough. So, also not enough for me to support me to do more advanced statistical test. And also, so for the observation, behavior coding, and also the interview coding, I don't have the time to transcribe because transcription can be like really take longer time than you expected. But I mean, that can lead to my data is not that accurate. So that's a limitation as well. And also fail to control significant confounders such as children's verbal ability and family SCS. And also, so for the, although we using the multi-method way to assess SRQ, but it's only limited dimensions. Okay, positive SRQ and negative SRQ, and we have all other dimensions such as sibling rivalry and maybe sibling mental state talk that may be more interesting to look at. And the last one, instead of TOM, relationship skill and responsible decision making may be more developmental silent for adolescents. So yes, TOM development is a milestone for toddlers and preschoolers, but I mean, yes, so there's a still variation in TOM in adolescents, even in adults. But maybe at adolescents, this age is in addition to look at TOM, we should also think about what they actually do to use TOM to actually do something, the actions part. So yeah, that's the limitation. Next page, please. Yes, so now I'm finished, and also I'm doing my PhD now in University of Cambridge. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me.